Well, good morning and assalamu alaikum. And tell you very quickly an interesting story. This is about an American boy named Steve, and his story has lessons for what you're trying to do, I think. Steve realized that he had a passion for working with electronic machines when he was 12 years old. And so when he was 12, he built a little machine called a frequency counter. His work was so good that it surprised people in his town, and he eventually became an intern real soon with a company that is now known as Hewlett-Packard. 6 years later, so that would be when he was 18 years old, Steve joined a video company called Atari. His boss there challenged him to come up with a new video game. So Steve worked through 4 consecutive nights, and he won $500 for designing a video game that used fewer electronic chips than usual. So it was a step forward. 2 years after that, when he was 20 years old, Steve and a friend began going to meetings of something called the Homebrew Computer Club in California. And it was at this club where Steve and a friend introduced their first computer that they had built and heard the opinions of their fellow computer specialists. 1 year later, that'd be when he was 21, Steve built the first computer he wanted to sell, but the Atari company where he worked refused to buy it. It was a failure, but Steve kept trying. To produce the first 50 computers for his first order that he received, Steve started to build the computers in his bedroom in his house. But soon, there was no room in the bedroom, so he had to move his business from his bedroom to the family garage, where he built the first 50 computers. And working out of his garage, he delivered the computers on time, and he made $8,000 in profit. He then needed to access finance to grow his business. He first went to a venture capitalist named Don Valentine, who rejected Steve's business model. Steve then tried to sell his company to Commodore Business Machines, and Commodore refused to buy the company, and again Steve felt that he had failed. Yet he kept going, he kept trying. That same year, Steve decided to get a mentor to help him write a business plan. He eventually convinced a wealthy neighbor to donate $92,000, and he borrowed $250,000 from a large American bank, and he began producing computers. The next year, Steve started his own new company. Can you guess what the company name is? I saw it. You're right. Yeah, Apple Computer. It's now the world's most valuable company, and it was started by a young man in his bedroom. So, Steve Jobs, that's his name, Steve Jobs' path to success teaches us a few things. One, it teaches us to take risks and turn our passions into a business plan. 2, it teaches us to use failures as learning experiences. One of the investors who refused to invest in Apple said that it was ridiculous to invest in a company run by 2 young guys working out of a garage. Now, Apple is the world's most valuable company. 3, it teaches us to participate in networks and join associations like the Indus Entrepreneurs. It also helps to work for a company and absorb knowledge in your field before starting your own venture. And 4, it teaches us that eventually we will need capital to grow our businesses. In Steve Jobs' example, he used equity, money invested in the company directly, and credit, a loan from the American bank.